Imagine waking up in a place you've never seen, with no memory of how you got there. This is the reality for many missing people found in bizarre locations. Take Stephen Kabatsky, for instance. He vanished while kayaking in 1978, only to reappear 15 months later, miles away, with no recollection of his time. Then there's the chilling tale of the cave girl, who was discovered deep within a cave system, seemingly untouched by time. And what about toddler teleportation? Reports of young children suddenly appearing miles away, often in the company of strangers, baffle authorities. Each case, from the mysterious disappearance of Edward V of England to the enigmatic fate of Raoul Wallenberg, raises more questions than answers. These stories remind us that the world is full of mysteries, and sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction. In 1961, Michael Rockefeller vanished into the depths of the uncharted jungles of New Guinea, a world far removed from his privileged upbringing as the son of Nelson Rockefeller. Driven by a passion for art and anthropology, he sought to connect with the indigenous Asmat people, known for their intricate wood carvings and rich cultural traditions. But what began as an adventurous expedition turned into a haunting mystery. Witnesses claimed he was last seen swimming towards the shore, but the dense mangroves and treacherous waters concealed him from the world. Speculation ran rampant. Did he drown, or was he taken by the very tribe he sought to understand? Some even whispered of ritualistic practices. Despite extensive searches, no trace of Michael was ever found, leaving his fate shrouded in intrigue. On May 5, 1979, I woke up on a grassy knoll in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, with no memory of how I got there. I was wearing a marathon t-shirt and found a backpack filled with maps and hitchhiking signs beside me. The shocking part? I had been missing for 14 months. My last memory was a solo ski trip near Lake Michigan in February 1978, where my footprints vanished at the lake's edge. Pittsfield is over 700 miles away from where I disappeared. This area, known as the Michigan Triangle, is notorious for unexplained vanishings. I've thought about retracing my steps, but the truth of those missing months remains locked away. What happened to me? Maybe some truths are too bizarre to share. Surviving in a frozen wilderness is a test of both body and mind. Imagine waking up to a world blanketed in snow, where every breath is a reminder of the biting cold. On December 21, 1980, Wally Nelson in Langby, Minnesota, found his friend Jean Hillyard frozen on his snow-covered lawn. Her body was stiff, her eyelids frozen open, and her joints immovable. Doctors recorded her body temperature below 80 degrees Fahrenheit, her heartbeat at just 8 beats per minute, and her skin too cold for 4. Miraculously, Jean recovered after being warmed with heating pads. Within hours, she was moving, and she fully healed in days with only minor frostbite. Experts believe her survival may involve a phenomenon resembling chemical hibernation, where the body slows down to conserve energy and oxygen. Jean's case, a natural cryonic recovery without cell damage, continues to puzzle scientists. In 2019, Chinese police using drones found a campsite deep in Yunnan province's mountains. They discovered Song, a fugitive who had escaped custody in 2002 and lived in an isolated cave for 17 years. Song survived by lighting fires, fetching water from a ravine, and living minimally. Despite his resourcefulness, authorities apprehended him to serve his sentence. It was a life stripped down to the essentials: lighting fires to keep warm, fetching water from a nearby ravine, and embracing the solitude. Each day was a battle for survival, but there was found peace in the rhythm of nature. It is good enough to learn to listen to the forest and to understand its whispers. It became resourceful, crafting tools from what the land offered. But freedom has its price. In 2019, drones spotted a campsite, and the lifeboat came crashing down. It was taken back to serve as a sentence, but those years in the wild taught us resilience and the beauty of simplicity. In August 2016, YouTuber Exploring with Josh discovered a frightened little girl in the pitch-black 8 caves of Mount St. Helens. She didn't speak English, but they found her parents nearby and reunited the family. How she wandered off in the vast 2.4-mile cave system remains a mystery. This date cannot be forgotten easily in history. As we explored the dark, winding passages of the Eight Caves at Mount St. Helens, we stumbled upon a frightened little girl, alone in the pitch black. She didn't speak a word of English, and the eerie silence of the cave only amplified her fear. Our hearts raced as we realized the gravity of the situation. After a frantic search, we found her parents not far away, and the relief on their faces was indescribable. But how did she wander off in such a vast, 2.4-mile cave system? It's a mystery that still lingers. The caves are a labyrinth, and one moment of distraction can lead to a world of uncertainty. That day reminded us of the importance of staying close and being aware of our surroundings, especially in places as daunting as these. Imagine a sunny day in May 1950 when 2-year-old Anna Thorpe suddenly vanishes from her yard in Dunbar, Pennsylvania. Her mother hears a loud cry, but by the time help arrives, Anna is nowhere to be found. 2 days later, searchers discover her, unharmed, in a field 2 miles away, past barbed wire fences. Fast forward to 2010, and we have Rowan Griffin, another 2-year-old, who disappears in Richmond, New Hampshire. Hours later, he's found clinging to a tree in a swamp 3 miles from home. How did these toddlers travel such distances, seemingly without a trace? The mystery remains unsolved, leaving us to ponder the unexplainable. What could possibly connect these two extraordinary cases?
I found myself in a tight spot, literally. April 2016, Rat's Nest Cave in Canmore, Canada. I was exploring the depths, feeling adventurous, when I squeezed into a narrow passage. Suddenly, I was stuck. Panic set in as I realized how tight it was. I could hear the echoes of my own breath, and time seemed to stretch. Emergency responders arrived, and I could hear their voices above me, reassuring yet urgent. For 12 long hours, they worked tirelessly, using ropes and pulleys, all while I clung to the hope of freedom. It was a test of patience and resilience. Finally, I felt the pull, and just like that, I was free. Emerging from the cave, I was unharmed but forever changed. That experience taught me the importance of safety and the power of teamwork in the face of adversity.
In 1965, I stood at a bustling sports convention, my heart racing as I spotted a familiar face, my long-lost uncle, Larry Bader, who vanished on Lake Erie in 1957. But he was no longer Larry, he was now John Fritz Johnson. When I approached him, he denied it, claiming he had no memory of his past. Yet, the fingerprints told a different story, confirming his identity. It was a surreal moment, seeing someone I thought I'd lost forever, yet he was a stranger to himself. This revelation sparked a whirlwind of legal battles and unanswered questions. How could someone just disappear and re-emerge without any recollection? The mystery of Larry Bader, or John Fritz, remains a haunting puzzle, leaving us to wonder about the life he lived and the memories that vanished with him. AlHakim, the enigmatic Fatimid caliph, ruled from 996 to 1021, leaving a legacy that still sparks intrigue. Known for his eccentricities, he declared himself a divine figure, demanding absolute loyalty. His reign was marked by architectural marvels, including the stunning AlHakim Mosque in Cairo, a testament to his vision. Yet, his rule was also characterized by paranoia. He famously ordered the disappearance of anyone he deemed a threat, including his own advisors. AlHakim's fascination with the occult led to the establishment of secret societies, blending governance with mysticism. His disappearance in 1021 remains a mystery, fueling legends that he might return as a messianic figure. AlHakim's life was a captivating blend of power, madness, and the supernatural, shaping the cultural landscape of his time. He was Edward V of England, born in 1470, the eldest son of King Edward IV. His life was a whirlwind of royal privilege and peril. At just 12 years old, he found himself thrust onto the throne after his father's sudden death. But his reign was fleeting, lasting only 11 weeks. He was a pawn in a deadly game of power, manipulated by his uncle, Richard, Duke of Gloucester, who would soon become Richard III. Imagine the tension of being a child king, surrounded by ambitious nobles and the looming shadow of the throne. His fate took a dark turn when Richard seized control, declaring him illegitimate. He vanished from history, presumed murdered in the Tower of London, a tragic end to a life that could have changed the course of England. His story is a reminder of the fragility of power and the ruthless nature of ambition in the world of royalty.
Solomon Northop was born a free man in New York, but his life took a harrowing turn when he was kidnapped and sold into slavery. For 12 long years, he endured the brutalities of plantation life in Louisiana, stripped of his identity and dignity. He witnessed the inhumane treatment of his fellow enslaved people, their spirits crushed under the weight of oppression. Yet, amidst the darkness, he clung to hope. His resilience led him to forge connections, and he never stopped dreaming of freedom. Finally, with the help of allies who believed in his plight, he escaped and returned to his family. His story, captured in 12 Years a Slave, is a testament to the strength of the human spirit and a reminder of the fight for justice that continues today. Ambrose Bierce, a master of wit and cynicism, was not just a writer but a sharp observer of the human condition. Born in 1842, he served in the Civil War, an experience that deeply influenced his darkly humorous tales. His most famous work, The Devil's Dictionary, redefined definitions with biting satire, turning everyday words into clever critiques of society. Bierce had a knack for capturing the absurdity of life, often exploring themes of death and the supernatural. His short stories, like An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge, blend realism with the surreal, leaving readers questioning the nature of reality itself. Disappearing mysteriously in 1914 while traveling to Mexico, Bierce remains an enigma, much like his writings, provocative, haunting, and endlessly intriguing. He is Raoul Wallenberg, a name that echoes through history as a beacon of hope during one of humanity's darkest hours. In 1944, amidst the horrors of the Holocaust, he arrived in Budapest with a mission to save as many lives as possible. Armed with nothing but courage and a handful of Swedish protective passports, he navigated a city gripped by fear. He established safe houses and issued documents that granted Jews a chance at survival. His efforts saved tens of thousands, but the cost was high. He vanished in 1945, captured by Soviet forces, and his fate remains a mystery. Yet, his legacy endures, a testament to the power of individual action in the face of tyranny. Imagine a hiker vanishing in the woods, only to be found days later in a locked cabin miles away, with no memory of how they got there. Or consider the case of a child who disappears from a playground, only to reappear in a remote field, claiming they were playing with friends who no one else can see. These stories defy logic, leaving investigators baffled and families in disbelief. Some believe in the supernatural, while others point to psychological phenomena like dissociative fugue. Each case raises more questions than answers, challenging our understanding of reality. What drives these inexplicable journeys? Are they mere coincidences, or is there something deeper at play? The mystery of missing people found in bizarre places continues to intrigue us, reminding us that the world is full of secrets waiting to be uncovered.